Hey, welcome back to the fall 2024 semester here at Truman State University, and welcome back to a new series of Truman Tech Breaks. Now, hopefully at this point, you've at least started to get your gradebook set up, but if not, that's okay. That's what we're here to talk about now. So the first thing you want to do is run the setup wizard. Now, I know that sounds like kind of a goofy name, but you can definitely tell that computer nerds like myself are the ones who come up with this stuff. What that actually does is the setup wizard works as a super useful tool to quickly and easily guide you through the basic settings of your gradebook. I'd highly recommend doing this, as well as much of you can of your gradebook setup, either before the semester starts or early on. While you certainly are able to make changes later, you do so at the risk of potentially doing something wrong and even losing student grades. Plus, in the interest of transparency in your course, it's best to have all this set up front. If you ever do need to make some sort of adjustment to your gradebook later in the semester, please reach out to the Learning Technologies team before doing so, and we'll be happy to make sure that this adjustment is done ethically and will keep your grades intact. All right, so let's get to it. So as you can see, I'm here on D2L. I'm in my sandbox course, so you'll want to navigate to whatever course you want to go to for your grades. I'm going to go up here to the grades tab up here. Depending on how your tabs are set up, it may be under more. For me, it's right here. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see up here, for you, you may be noticing, by the way, students down here. I don't have any students in my sandbox, so that's why that's empty. But you can see up in these tabs here, we've got enter grades, which is where you'll see your students' grades. Manage grades, which is kind of when you're working with grades as a whole, a great kind of bird's eye view, which we'll talk about later, and setup wizard. So we're going to get started with the setup wizard. All right, on this first page, we've got just kind of a big overview of our current settings. So you can take a look at what we've currently got set up. I'm going to make some changes to this. And we're going to click start. So we can choose what type of grading system we want. With what we're working with today, I'm going to go ahead and choose weighted just because it's it's a little bit more complicated than some of the others. And click continue. So here we've got step two of what you want to release. Do you want to release your calculated final grade, which is the hard numbers, the points or weight that your student gets is what is displayed, or the adjusted final grade, which allows you to make some adjustments if, for whatever reason, you need to like round up or something like that. For today, we're going to go with calculated. Next is grade calculations. You can either drop ungraded items or treat ungraded items as zero. My recommendation for this is that, especially if you're going to make your grades visible to your students, that you would drop ungraded items and then just make ungraded item zero manually. Otherwise, it's going to look at all of those ungraded items that your students haven't even done yet, but they will do later in the semester and treat those as zeros. So your students may have a little bit of a um, terrified moment whenever they look at their grade and see that they've got all these zeros that are really, really dragging down is actually probably a much better grade. So we'll keep drop ungraded items where it is and continue. Here's where you can change your default grade scheme if you've created any grade schemes. I have not, but if you needed to create any other grade scheme, I know some schools have different schemes as opposed to the 90 to 100A, for instance. So if you're interested in that, reach out to our team and we can help you get that set up. All right, now we're getting into the nitty gritty a little bit. This is just managing display view options. How many decimal points to display for your grades? We'll go ahead and just keep it at 2. I'm not too picky about that right now. On step 6, we'll see what your students will see. So you can go ahead and down the line and customize exactly what your students see. For instance, if you have a grade scheme set up, you can include colors in that. In some ways, for instance, you might want to put D's and F's in a red color, for instance, just to kind of flag those as areas of concern. Now, you can either keep that only as something that the instructor sees, so you get that flag, um, or you can have your students see that as well. And that's kind of up to you. For some students, that may be kind of alarming, but If they're getting D's and F's, maybe they need that little bit of motivation too. I'll leave that up to you. And finally, this last step is the same as the first one, just now we're seeing all of the changes that we've made kind of at that top level view again. So now that I've done all that, I'm going to make sure that I click finish so it goes through. And there we go. All of those settings already taken care of. Nice and easy. All right, so I'm back on our course homepage here. We do have the setup wizard completed, so all of our basic settings should be as we want them. So let's talk about putting items into Gradebook now. Let's go ahead and take a look at what our Gradebook currently looks like. Again, I don't have any students, so this is going to be empty for me, probably not for you. So I'm going to go to Manage Grades, and this is, again, where I was talking about earlier, you get kind of that bird's eye view level of what your gradebook looks like. It's really good at kind of visualizing the organization of your gradebook. So right now we're getting a little error message here. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That's just letting us know that our weight is not correctly balanced. But as you can see here, we've got assignments 1, 2, 3, 5, and 4. Now these I will be able to find in the assignments tab up at the top. You can notice also that they're a little out of order. That's okay. We'll talk about fixing that soon too. Um, I would want you to keep in mind too, and this will be important in just a second, that we do have assignments 1, 2, 3, 5, but also assignment 4 is in the gradebook. So if we were to go to assignments, we've got assignments 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Notice that assignments 1, 2, 3, and 5 have these little ribbons next to them. Now, these indicate that these assignments are associated with an item in the gradebook. If we were to look at, if we wanted to know which one they're associated with, we go to the little arrow next to it and click Edit Assignment. This is called Assignment 1. And if we were to click on this in Gradebook, editor link, it would tell us that it is linked to Assignment 1 in the gradebook, which is exactly how we would want to display that. However, notice that Assignment 4 is not associated with anything in the gradebook because it does not have that ribbon. What we need to do is remember there was an assignment 4 in the gradebook, but there is also an assignment 4 in assignment. Those two things have the same name, but they are not yet associated with each other. So we need to make sure that we kind of bridge that connection. So I'm going to click on that downward arrow here and go to assignment. As we can see, it is ungraded. We could have definitely guessed that by now. I'll just go ahead and put it 10 points. You'll be prompted for amount of points were weighted, so it's not a huge deal. Click on In Gradebook, Edit or Link to Existing. Now, this is a little bit confusing because there is already an assignment 4 in the gradebook. We don't necessarily want to create a link to a new grade item because what that would do is create a new assignment 4, and then we'll have two assignment 4s with one of them pointing to nothing. So instead, since there's already one there this time, we're going to link to an existing grade item, and that'll give us a little drop-down menu with stuff in the gradebook that's not yet associated with a gradable item. In this case, that's only assignment 4, and that's what we want. So perfect. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And make sure we save and close, otherwise that change will not go into effect. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got assignments 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all in the gradebook, which is perfect. That's what we want. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Clicking on the Grades tab and then back to Manage Grades. We've got assignments 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 4, actually, all associated with assignments. So that is good. Now, I think a lot of people would be bothered by this assignment 5 being between 3 and 4. So that's an easy fix. We're just going to go up to the top of the page under More Actions, click Reorder. And you see the sort order here. We can change this up. For assignment 5, we're going to associate that with number 5 instead. And since assignment 4 is right underneath it, that'll just bump that up to 4. We'll hit save. And look at that. These are now finally in order. So yeah, so you definitely can take, like, if there is one gradable item and one mark in your grade book, and you can definitely link those two things together if you need to. Generally, I think that it is a lot easier to just get that set up while you're creating the gradable item and adding it to your course. So for instance, what that might look like, let's go to discussions. So we don't have anything set up in discussions yet. That's okay. Let's go ahead and create a new forum. We'll just call it Forum 1. Be very creative, of course. And a new topic underneath that. Um, topic 1. All right. Now, topic 1 we can see right now is ungraded. Let's go ahead and just take care of that while we're here. So we'll make this one worth, say again, 10 points. That's fine. We are going to edit or link to existing. In this case, because there is no topic 1 already in the gradebook, let's go ahead and create and link to a new grade item. It's going to give it the same name as the discussion or as the topic itself. So if I click OK and then save and close, of course, and let's go ahead and just make one more of those real fast for later. We'll say topic 2. We'll have 2 topics. Again, I'm going to give it 10 points. Editor link, see this one's going to be topic 2. And I'll click OK and save and close. Now, if we go to Gradebook and manage grades, we'll now see those are already added to Gradebook for me, and they're linked to the associated assignment, or in this case, discussion post. All right, so we have grade items either added to the gradebook or linked to existing items in the gradebook. See, I've added a couple more here. What we're going to talk right now is balancing a weighted course. So as you can see at the top of the page, I've been getting this error message up here that final calculated grade sums to 80%, not 100%. When we're talking about the Brightspace weighted grade kind of system, try to think of it as 2 different levels. So you've got the course level where that's everything kind of at the top level. Everything at this level needs to add together to equal 100%. Now, that may be made up of smaller levels too underneath it, all of those smaller levels that are coming together to equal 100%, right? Each of those smaller levels, which are called categories generally, stuff underneath them also needs to equal 100%. So everything going up all the way up to the top equals 100% of the item above it. Let's kind of take a look at what that actually looks like. So in my sample course here, I've got kind of a different weight distribution that I picked out. Assignments are 40% of the course, discussions are 20%, final exam is 35, and participation is 5. And if somehow I manage to get the math right on that, that should equal 100%. So let's go ahead and get started with assignments. This is a lot easier when I put these under a category to weight. So if I go up here to new and go to category, let's create a category called assignments. Short name is just if you have a really long name for your category, it needs to be displayed in gradebook, so we can skip that. Assignments isn't too long of a name. Here's where we're interested in the weight. So the weight of assignments, as I said earlier, is 40% of the course. So I'm going to put 40 there. You can allow the category to exceed the weight. That's like if you've got like extra credit or something like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it. Within categories, the distribution, you can either manually assign it if you want to do the math yourself. If every item is worth the same weight individually, so say you have 5 different assignments and they're all worth 20% of the total of that category, then you can distribute weights evenly across all items. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for assignments. All right, so we can see I've got this assignments category down here. Nothing's really in it right now, though. It's totally empty, even though it's worth 40% of the grade right now. So what we need to do is just go through and hit edit on each assignment. And as we scroll down, you'll see category. Right now it has none. We're going to go ahead and throw it into assignments. And we'll do the same thing for assignment 2. And assignment 3. And I think you guys get the idea, so I'll go ahead and cut to the next part. Okay, so here's our full category of assignments here. As we can see, it is worth 40% of the grade. Each of these individual items and assignments, because I had them distribute evenly, the LMS did the math for me. So each of these is now worth 20% of the total category of assignments. All right, let's make a new category here now. Let's go to discussion posts. All right, discussion, as I said earlier, is worth 20% of the grade. For discussion posts, we only have two of them. I'm going to say one of them is worth quite a bit more than the other. So we're going to manually assign weight to items in this category instead. So it'll be a little bit different process. So now I'm going to go to my two discussion posts, topic one and topic two. I'm going to assign them to discussion posts. However, there's only two of them. So this first one, topic one, is going to be worth 25% of that category. Topic two is going to be worth 75%. Oh, there it is. Now be very careful here because you'll notice that you've got maximum points and weight. Those things are definitely not the same. So make sure that you're putting the right number into the right spot. Okay, so I've got two different categories here. We've got discussion posts, which is fully balanced. I'd be getting a little error message up here if it wasn't. And assignments. Our last couple things here are final exam and participation. Now, for these, we could create a category to put them under if we wanted to. Um, I think that's a little redundant just because there's only one item in each. So you can just leave them. Right now, they're at the category level, even though they are items. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the weight for final exam, which is 35%. And then we needed participation as well. I'm going to go ahead and add that just as a gradable item. So I'll click new item. We'll make this just numeric. We won't add it as a category actually. And that is 5%. Did I give it a name? Nope, I did not give it a name. Okay. All right. And like earlier, if I wanted to reorder this, I could just go to reorder and move final exam down to the bottom if I wanted to. Okay, well, that's just kind of a little bit of an overview of some of the features and stuff that you should be aware of in the Brightspace D2L gradebook. Certainly, there is more that we could touch on. So if you have anything, any concerns, any questions that you would like us to go on in the future, we can either set up a private appointment with you, email ltt@truman.edu, or if you have a suggestion for another one of these tech breaks, we've got a lot of plans for this fall that we're hoping to bring out some stuff, but we want to bring you what you need. So please reach out, ltt@truman.edu. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.